everyone, welcome back to my channel, Miss Pretty Plants. My name is Preeti and I garden here in Zone 6 in Toronto, and I am really enjoying this beautiful first day of spring in my garden. I just got back from a walk and it has been beautiful, slightly breezy, sunny, and really a good time for me to spend some more time in my garden before it gets dark. And I wanted to post this video about some cleanup that I'm doing, actually some pruning that I will be doing in the front yard. I will be pruning mostly my rose shrubs that I have. They are shrub roses, and I also have some tea roses and some climbing roses in my front yard, and I also have a lot of panicle hydrangeas that I will be pruning. If you aren't familiar with panicle hydrangeas, they are hydrangeas such as Bobo, Limelight, there is Firelight, there is Quickfire, Little Lime, and so on and so forth. So I have a few panicle hydrangeas in my front yard, and a lot of them have suffered a lot of winter damage. There are broken stems that need to be pruned, and so the good thing about panicle hydrangeas is that no matter what, they will bloom even if you prune them, because they do bloom on new wood. So whatever new growth that they have, that's what they're going to bloom on. So if you were to trim them, even if it's very aggressive, you will still get some blooms this year. So I'm not really worried about blooms. I just want to make sure that I clean up any dead stems. And the same with my roses. They have suffered a bit because there was a lot of snow. If you've seen my previous video where I did a walkabout of my garden, there was a lot of damage to the roses. A lot of the stems are weaker, they are leaning, so they do need a lot of care and pruning, and in general I come out and I prune my roses, but today I particularly may have to take down more than I was planning to, just to ensure that they will be stronger for this season. So that's what I'm planning to do today, and I thought I would take you along and show you. If you are interested in learning how to prune your shrub roses, I can show you what I do. And so basically what I do is just remove anything that is dead or weaker stems, or anything that's crossing and it's going to kind of branch out in a weird way and interrupt with another branch, and also opening up the center of the shrub so that there is more airflow and circulation within the rose shrubs. And the other thing I noticed was a lot of my shrubs have black spot this year because it was extremely wet. There was a lot of snow and it's still quite wet, so I just want to remove all those diseased leaves and discard them, and also clean up around the base of these roses so that I don't have that same issue when the new leaves come on. And I might also go and buy a fungicide that I can spray on these roses just to make sure that no spores are remaining. So that's it. I will take you along and I'll show you what I'm doing. And before I do that, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do consider subscribing and following me. I do post regularly about gardening and all things I'm doing in my garden and everything plants related. And if you find that interesting, come along with me and follow me. And do comment on this video if you found this useful. If you like this video, I will appreciate it if you can click the like button and let me know, and comment and let me know if you're doing these types of things in your garden and if you found my tips useful. So without further ado, I am going to show you the roses that I'm pruning, and I'll take you along. Thank you again for watching. This is my oh so easy double red rose, and as you can see, there is a lot of crossing and lots of black spot on the leaves. So what I'm going to do to start with is I'm going to first take down the length of the entire shrub by about 1/3, and then I will work with what's left and remove anything that's crossing or broken or diseased. So that's what I'm going to do, is take down the length. As you can see, this is what it looks like right now, and I'm just going to completely take down 1/3 of the shrub, and I will show you what it looks like once I'm done cutting it by a third. I wanted to share with you the progress on the first shrub so far. So this is the first shrub that I have. I actually have 2 shrubs in this spot, and if you can see that I took out a lot of the growth on top, but as you can see there are a lot of these weak branches that I will take off as well, because they are not going to support any growth. So anything that's weak like this will be coming off. And in addition to, I'm going to take out all of this spindly growth that's on the shrub. As you can see, these branches are really weak, and there is also a lot of like broken kind of branches. So I'm going to have to reduce this drastically. And also this shrub is leaning into the shrub completely because of the weight of the snow. So I'm going to have to reduce this one quite a bit so that they kind of are both open, they are both condensed, and all of the broken stems and weak stems are kind of removed. As you can see, this one is leaning into this one quite a bit, and I have to take this weight off. So I just wanted to show you what this looks like as I've started to remove the top growth, and I'm going to continue to do that, and I will show you when it's all done and cleaned up. Here is an example of a crossing branch. As you can see, this branch, if I let it stay, when it grows, it's going to kind of cross with this branch. So it's better for me to take this branch off so that I have this as the main stem, and more of the stems will grow from this main stem as opposed to this one, which is kind of just crossing with this one. So that's the one I'm going to remove. So these are the types of things that you would have to kind of consider when you are trying to prune your shrub roses or your roses in general, to avoid these kind of scenarios. So that's what I'm going to remove. So here it is. I'm done cleaning up the roses. Lots and lots of damage this year, and I am a little bit worried about these, but I feel like they probably will spring back. But this one here, like, I'm not sure if you can see, but I am in a dilemma. There is a couple of strong branches that are like competing with each other, and this shrub has completely is completely bent and it's leaning on the other side, and I'm really worried about this one. And I took out a lot of growth, almost like it kind of got a rejuvenation pruning, but a little bit worried about what it's going to do this season. But regardless, what I'm going to do is try to choose between this one, this branch, or this branch. And I think I might remove this one because there is one just next to it that is pretty healthy and strong, I think. So I think I might give this one a little bit of a cut so that it doesn't kind of cross with this other one. But other than that, I'm happy with it. There's a lot of like space in the middle of these shrubs, and I know that they will push out new growth. I'm gonna put some fertilizer on it later on, probably in a week or two, and then I will see how they do. But for now, I think at least they are cleaned up. There's a lot of leaves on the ground here, which it'll take me some time to pick them up, but I just wanted to show you what these look like. And more than likely I am going to remove this one here, probably give it a cut somewhere here so that it's not crossing with the other branch. And that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna finish this up, and I think for today I might wrap it up and then continue with some more pruning tomorrow, and I will show you what I'm pruning tomorrow as well. And then that way you have a full picture of what I've completed. It's almost sundown, and I don't wanna spend a lot more time here. I'm glad I got this chore done today, and yeah, I'm going to show you tomorrow when I prune the other roses. They will be much easier because there isn't a lot of damage on them compared to this one. So I wanted to tackle this one first today. So this bed here also has some echinacea here, and it has some salvia here and some other kind of sedum kind of ground cover, and it has another rose on that side, which is pretty okay. It's just really tall, so I might just give it a trim just cut off a third, and then clean up this. There is a geranium roseanne over there that I will clip and clean. And yeah, and other than that, this bed is okay. I will fertilize it probably in a couple of weeks or another week when I start seeing some new growth. And that's pretty much it. I'm glad these got tackled today, and I'm going to continue cleaning up this bed. And tomorrow I will show you the rest of the front yard that I'm cleaning and take you along with that. So this is the other section of my front yard that I'm going to tackle. This is more on the side behind a lot of my other shrub tea roses and roses. And as you can see, this one here has a climbing rose with a broken branch from the winter damage. Yeah, this is broken, and also a lot of broken stems on this rose. So I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna clean it up using the same techniques I showed you yesterday. So this is day 2 now, and I'm out in the garden again trying to tackle some cleanup earlier this morning so that I can have this all cleaned up. And I also want to replace this trellis on this fence, and I might go pick up new trellises today, or I will see if I have something in the garden that I can reuse on this wall. So that's one task to do, but for now I'm gonna just clean up this area and remove all the dead branches and give all of these roses a prune. Lots of leaves are still on it, and I need to get them prepped for the new season and new growth. So when I'm all done, I'll show you what this area looks like. And a good idea to sanitize your pruners before you touch the roses and in between different plants and roses, because you don't want to transfer any disease from one plant to another. So remember to do that step, and I like to keep a sanitizer with me, and or alcohol wipes, and just wipe it down in between the prunes. I wanted to show you that I have cleaned up these shrubs, and as you can see that they are quite a bit down in size because a lot of it was broken, as I showed you. And but it's okay, I've left the stronger stems. There's a lot of airflow, and this climbing rose, I will train it up a new trellis when I find it. I'm gonna look for one and I'm gonna put it here. And I also have a bluebeard here which flowers pretty late in the summer, so I'm just gonna give it a little prune on top. I'm not gonna cut it to the ground because I'm just gonna cut off the tops of this plant. And in here I also have a bit of a phlox which I'm going to also clean up. It's starting to green up a little bit. And then in the back here I have a clematis which I just planted last year, and I see a little bit of green on it. I am unsure what type it is, but I think it may be a group 3, which I think I can cut it back, but I have to do a little bit of research before I cut that one back. And this is a rose of Sharon, a purple pillar rose of Sharon, which I just planted last year. I'm not going to prune it, I'm going to leave it for this year. And behind it I have a sand cherry which also blossoms really early, so excited to see that one leaf and bloom. It has very pretty white flowers in the spring, so I'm excited for that. And over here I have a Pinky Winky Hydrangea standard. So I am going to prune this one a little bit. I'm going to take the flower heads off, and this was just planted last year, so it's very first season in the ground. Hasn't put on a lot of growth, but I think it's more established this year. So you can see this branch here is going inward, it's crossing, so I am going to remove this branch here, and really just clean up the flower heads and just check for structurally if there's anything crossing. I can see something here that's crossing, so I'm just going to give it a little bit of a prune, and I'll show you what this looks like. It isn't very big to begin with. It's just its first year in the ground, so I'm not going to do anything drastic to this one. And yeah, I'm excited to see this one bloom this year, so I'm going to prune this and I'll show you what this looks like. A lot of the leaves I am going to leave in this spot so that they'll probably just disintegrate. A lot of insects are still sleeping, so I'm just not going to disturb a lot of leaves here. The only thing I picked up was anything that was rotting with the rose leaves, and that's pretty much it. And as soon as all this greens up, you won't even see the leaves, so I think it'll be okay. I'm just gonna clean up this hydrangea next, and then I might go in the front and do a little bit of cleanup with the sedums, and there is some geranium here that needs to be cleaned up a little bit, so I'm gonna go in and do that next. I had to take a bit of a coffee break. We've been working hard, and it's actually nice to kind of do it at a slow pace. Been working with Ollie, and just enjoying sitting down with him on the porch, and he's been hanging out with me. So obviously I can't work that fast because I have to stop and pet him, and we have to enjoy the sunshine. So yeah, gardening is a lot of fun. I love the pace right now, and when you start feeling the warmth of the spring sun, you just feel so blessed, and I'm just kind of just basking in the sunshine right now. And when I finish my coffee, I'm gonna go and tackle some of the other things that are in the front. I feel really good. I got a lot of the roses out of the way. There are a bunch more roses in the front that I'm gonna go next and tackle, and I'll take you along. And there's sedum and some geranium and things like that that I will be cutting back. I do also have some butterfly bushes, which I will leave for now because I do not want to like touch them right now. I will prune them back once I start seeing some growth on them. But for now, I'm going to show you the front and the roses that I'm going to be working on. Yeah, and lots of redesign ideas in the front. They are just kind of in my head right now, and but I will take you along as I start and I start planning them and start digging and start kind of laying my shape of my new beds and all of that. So I have to move some of the little lime and bobo hydrangeas as well. So once I have the shape of my bed and I prune my yew shrub, I will then be able to decide what I'm gonna do with the bed. So I'm still undecided if I need to take down the shrub completely or give it a massive prune. I'm not really sure right now. So as I clean the garden, I think it will come to me what I want to do and what I need to do with it. So yeah, so I am so excited and happy to spend this early morning in the garden and enjoy my coffee and do a bit of cleanup. So thanks for joining me and coming along with me, and let's go tackle a few more things. These are the other roses that I have in the front. They are mostly tea roses. There are some lower roses, I think carpet roses here, and a bunch of other roses that are mostly tea roses, and there's a Gertrude Jekyll in the back here, and also another climbing rose called Rosa, and a bunch of other roses that I am going to, they don't need a lot of pruning because they were just planted last year. And this is a little rose tree that I have, so I'm just going to cut off the blooms for these and just any weak branches and just clean them up a little bit. Very light pruning on those, and I will show you when I'm all done. Everything else here doesn't really need too much pruning because a lot of these are new plantings. I will go in the back there and clean up that miscanthus. This is little zebra, so I'm just going to cut the dried up growth from the winter, and nothing in the back there really needs a prune. There's a butterfly bush, Miss Ruby. I will leave it for now, and I will trim it when I start seeing a bit more growth on it. And there is an oak leaf hydrangea there, and there's a bunch of panicle hydrangeas. There's a quick fire in the back there, and I have 2 firelight hydrangeas, which don't need much. Actually, they're fine. I'm just going to go in there and give them a little bit of a prune, just a couple of inches off the top, because they're really young plants. They don't really need much right now. And I also have some heucheras here, which I will clean up and remove some of the dead leaves and get them ready for spring. So that's what I'm going to do, fix some of these lights and just clean up in general around here, and I will show you what this looks like when I'm done. And there's some geraniums there that I also need to clean up, and the sedums, I'm just going to cut the dried stalks, and I'm sure there is new growth that is emerging right now underneath there. So yeah, bunch of cleanup there to do, and I will show you once this is all clean. Just wanted to show you the catmint. I have a catmint here, and it's already starting to like green up at the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove all of this dead foliage so that the new growth is encouraged, and it's a lot of new growth at the bottom of this. And the other thing I wanted to show you as well is I have a bonfire euphorbia here. It has a lot of new growth, so I'm just going to remove these dried stems and cut them off now. So that's what I'm going to do next. The roses are looking good. I gave them a little bit of a snip, and they are looking really great. So just wanted to show the progress as well along the way. Cleaned up this whole side, and I'll show you that I've kind of pruned this rose standard. It's a white rose standard that I have here, and I've cleaned it. It's quite drastic. It may look quite drastic, but it'll flush out with new leaves and new stems and all of that. And I'm going to also take this one off. So yeah, I've kind of pruned everything, and I have left the butterfly bush alone, and I've kind of trimmed out the miscanthus little zebra and the catmint over here as well. And I've left the euphorbia for now because I kind of want to see how it grows from the ground, and I'm pretty sure I can trim those stems, but I just want to wait and see how this grows, because this is the first time I have this plant in my garden. I have no experience growing euphorbia, so I am going to be a little bit careful about what I do with it, just because it's good to watch a new plant and see its growth habit and learn and understand it before you start cutting it. And I mean, that's something I always do when I don't know about a plant or I've had no experience with a plant. I kind of tread with a bit of caution, not because I will ruin the plant, but because I kind of want to understand what it does, how it's growing, and I'm pretty sure I can remove all of this dry bits, but I will see a couple of weeks, and then I'll just come here and I'll trim them up. That shouldn't be a problem, and that shouldn't stop the new growth from growing. So that's the good part about all of these plants. If you did nothing to them, they would still grow, and they would still kind of pull through from all the dead foliage and the dead branches, and they would still get their leaves. So pruning is kind of something we do because you want to control the look, the size, and remove anything that's damaged, but it's not necessary. Most times the plants will grow back and do their thing. So next I'm going to actually prune a little bit on these lavender shrubs that I have here. I don't heavily prune my lavender. I'm just gonna clean the tops up to the woody stem, and that's pretty much it, and it should flush out new blooms for me. And these do really well in this spot, and I'm going to just do that. I also have a Russian sage in the back, and I have another one on this side as well, over here just in front of the Japanese maple, and I'm not going to touch them yet because they are late bloomers, so I might just trim the top off and just leave them. And then I'm going to go back in there and I'm going to clean up those sedums. I have an endless summer hydrangea in there, and it has a lot of buds, and I'm not going to prune that. That's a macrophylla hydrangea. You do not prune them at all because they bloom on both old and new wood, those ones. And if you want blooms in the spring, you just leave them alone, and they should bloom. I just hope we don't get a harsh frost that could kill off the buds, but it's okay because they should also bloom on new growth. So when I go up there, I will show you a close-up of what the buds look like. There's a lot of buds on it, so I'm excited to see it bloom. I'm up close with this hydrangea. I kind of wanted to show you the buds on it. Lots of new buds on this, so really excited to see them. And as you can see, there's also some dead blooms on it, so you could just snip off the ends of these blooms, and that's it. I wouldn't cut anything else on this shrub because it does bloom on new and old wood, so I just want to leave them for now. Lots of exciting growth on it, so I'm excited to see this bloom. And also the sedums, they have a lot of new growth at the base, so excited to see. I've cut off the stems, all of the stems, and it's starting to look a lot cleaner. For these geraniums, I'm just gonna leave them a little bit, and over time they should have a lot of new growth and just cover up the old dead growth, and I'm just gonna let it be, and then clean it up once it fills in. It's still quite frozen in there, and the leaves are stuck, so I just don't want to pull and hurt the plant, so I'm just going to leave it for now, and I'll work on it in a couple of weeks when it flushes out more growth. So yeah, the bed is looking considerably clean. I've also trimmed a lot of the lavender a little bit on top, and it's looking really good. So with that, I just wanted to end this video. I don't want to make it too long. I also have a few more areas in the front to clean. I have to clean out my side yard, but I will the other side of the driveway, and I will post a new video for that. So with that, I wanted to thank you all for watching my video, and I hope you know, you've learned a thing or two about pruning your shrub roses and your panicle hydrangeas, and just, you know, get out there and clean up your garden. And one tip I'll give you is don't be so scared to do the pruning, because you will learn. If you make a mistake, you will learn from it, and if there is anything new in your garden, it's a good idea to stop, pause, and view it. And you don't have to necessarily prune anything if you don't want to. So with that, I will you know, wish everyone a beautiful Monday and a beautiful week ahead. I hope everyone is having a fabulous day. Please do subscribe to my channel for more updates and more videos from me on all things plants and gardening. Thank you for watching.